Hey everybody, welcome back to Filmmonger. I'm 𝘧𝘪𝘭𝘮𝘵, and today I have a story about how Kevin Feige single-handedly stopped the Amazing Spider-Man 3 from ever being made. That's right, little did we know that behind the scenes, shortly after one popular MCU movie, Kevin Feige concocted a plan that stopped Andrew Garfield's universe and ushered in the Tom Holland universe. Right before we get into this video, I do have a Marvel trivia question for you, and that's, what is Spider-Man's web made out of? I know there's a lot of different answers for this one, but I'm looking for one in particular, so let's see if you get that right in the comments below. Now let's get to it.
Agent Romanoff, you miss me?
Oh yeah, Charles, we got ourselves an X-Men fan.
Captain.
Your Highness.
Captain, big fan, Spider-Man. Hey everyone.
To much of my surprise, there's this new book that is all about like the making of the Marvel universe, and one thing that really stood out was the fact of how Spider-Man came to be. I know Kevin Feige is like a visionary, but after reading the story, Kevin Feige is playing freaking 3D chess while we're all playing checkers while eating glue. I mean, he is clearly seeing the story before the story that's happening in MCU, which is why the MCU universe has been so successful. And this actually plays a huge role into why Andrew Garfield's universe did not continue, which really blew my mind. Because although I knew the second movie wasn't as well received as the first, it didn't seem like it merited such an abrupt, clear knocking off as it did. What was really surprising at all is the fact that you had everything set up for another movie. I mean, Rhino and then Attack, you had the Sinister Six kind of all being established, and all of a sudden, crickets. Nothing to be heard, nothing to be seen, and now we have a little bit more of that story. So, on a fateful day, when The Amazing Spider-Man 2 was set to release, which was a few weeks after Captain America and the Winter Soldier release, which obviously the story is history there. Captain America and the Winter Soldier was one of the most popular movies to ever come out in the MCU universe, a beloved one by many in the franchise, saying that that was really one that established really good storytelling for Marvel movies. Shortly after that, The Amazing Spider-Man 2 was released, and we all remember how some of that went down with 𝘨𝘗𝘗𝘵 Jamie Foxx, a very bad Green Goblin, and just overall a really dumb storyline. You know, him break his promise and then Emma Stone getting knocked off in the end. Amazing Spider-Man 2 promised a lot in the trailers but under-delivered in the production. And this left the co-chairperson of Sony Entertainment to really be scratching her head. Amy Pascal decided, you know what? Let bygones be bygones. Let me reach out to Kevin Feige, the mastermind of the MCU universe, about what to do with The Amazing Spider-Man 3. Because once again, The Amazing Spider-Man 2 wasn't a total failure. It still made money. So the fact that they would can that whole series seems a little asinine. So it's just like, hey, let's get Kevin Feige in there. And Kevin Feige's like, checkmate, baby. Kevin Feige says that he put together a really rapid presentation. Feige apparently scrambled together an impromptu mini creative retreat with the intent of a battle plan to present to Amy Pascal with the intent of saying, hey, you don't want to make The Amazing Spider-Man 3 with Andrew Garfield. In fact, what you want to do is give us the rights to Spider-Man for a run of movies. Now, what's crazy about this is that this time, this was way on left field. We hadn't had, intellectual property sharing really happening between these two entertainment giants, or really seeing that at all in the movie universe. So the fact that he swung for the fences was really brave of Kevin Feige, but it's also another example of Kevin Feige is a visionary. He sees the code. He wants to move forward. It says here in this quote, a few days ahead of their launch, Feige scrambled together this impromptu mini retreat with their core creative producers. If there were even the slightest chance that Peter Parker could be part of the MCU, Kevin Feige wanted to have the bones of a battle plan already figured out. So Kevin Feige comes to the situation, he's like, listen, everybody on this team of creators, the people he gathered together to get the Spider-Man story out, he's just like, hey, here's the fact. Is if we have a chance, if we have a 1% possibility, that sounds like Ben Affleck with Superman, right? 1% possibility, we take it as an absolute certainty. Kevin Feige took this as an absolute certainty that Spider-Man could indeed enter the MCU, which seemed like a far-fetched pipe dream at that time. I still remember when Spider-Man got announced, we're like, what? It was shocking, it was revolutionary, and obviously the rest is history with Spider-Man No Way Home already breaking records. It hasn't even come out yet. Before we continue this video, I just want to let you guys know that we have an awesome Instagram that updates on a regular basis with all things Marvel, DC, and everything that you love about the movies. So if you haven't already, go follow the Instagram right now. You won't regret it. Now let's get back to the video. With no time to spare, Feige announced all hands on deck. Every executive producer at Marvel had to be a part of the secret 2-day-long all-set retreat held in a rental hotel space in Santa Monica. No one else in Marvel Studios even knew. They didn't know that this was happening. It was kept top secret with the specific purpose of none of this gets out, no leaking to the news. We need to talk to Amy Pascal and convince her that this is the way moving forward. Something that they really stressed in that pitch, which I like, and clearly they've stuck to, is that they're like, we're not removing Peter Parker from high school. We've already done that twice with Tobey Maguire's and Andrew Garfield's, and it just doesn't translate as well. We want to keep Peter Parker in high school. What this allows is a different playground of ideas and storytelling that hadn't been done with Spider-Man yet, because in both films they're briefly in high school. This multi-picture deal would be reached and would show the growing pains of Peter Parker as him becoming a hero and also growing up as a kid. You know, learning to be a hero as a teenager. When the retreat finished, there was a good sense of how they would handle the character. Feige was ready for the launch with Pascal, and ultimately the rest is history. Amy Pascal went with the idea. This is why we do not have another Amazing Spider-Man. This is why we have Spider-Man entering in Captain America Civil War. This has led to a really awesome match between Sony, although there was a bumpy spot right at the tail end of Far From Home, whether that Tom Holland was going to be Spider-Man, they're going to figure it out. But through communication and working together, they brought it back, and now Spider-Man No Way Home is probably the most anticipated movie since Avengers Endgame. Not only that, if you're wanting to stay between the relationship of Sony and Marvel, I think Venom Let There Be Carnage pulls back the curtain pretty massively. It doesn't seem that Sony is getting any less invested in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. With the ending credit scene of Venom and Tom Hardy entering the MCU, specifically at the time of Spider-Man No Way Home, it seems like we have even more indication that Sony is all the more invested in what happens in the MCU. And although a lot of people have been highlighting that this is Tom Holland's last contracted film, there seems to be an indication that Sony and Marvel have already reached new agreements of collaboration, crossovers for the Spider-Man intellectual property. All that to say is that we seem to have a really, really positive future ahead of us when it comes to Spider-Man, and it all started back in the day when Kevin Feige was like, hey, we have a chance. We have a 1% chance that they might go for this, and we can walk them off the ledge of Amazing Spider-Man 3 and bring them into this idea of a new, young Spider-Man joining the MCU. So, what do you guys think about that story? I don't know about you, but that was pretty mind-blowing to me that Kevin Feige, once again, is playing 3D chess, and we're all just living in Kevin Feige's world. He clearly sees the story and where he wants to go with the MCU, and has led to a lot of healthy growth and success. Let me know what your thoughts about the story are in the comments below, and the answer to our trivia question is that the Spider-Man artificial web is actually made out of a nylon-like material. It is stronger than steel and more durable than Kevlar. It's some pretty nasty stuff, and proves to be pretty formidable as Spider-Man wields it. And as always, guys, if you like this video and you want to see more, guess what? You can you can subscribe, you can turn on notifications, because it helps us here at the channel, and we try to give you guys this content on the regular. And as always, guys, thank you so much for watching. Enjoy Spider-Man as it's coming soon. Enjoy Marvel, enjoy Sony, enjoy all the fun things that are happening. Have a great week, and we will see you next time.